thank you very much for coming. Richard Morwood from Vemma Trader here, and we are doing a Vemma Trader Ask Us Anything session. So last time when we did the live demo, we went after an hour and a half, and we stuck around for a lot more time after all the Q&A. We just kind of said, bugger, we've time to actually put some kids to bed and had to move on, unfortunately. We didn't get to everyone's questions, so we figured we would do another Ask Us Anything, which we're open to just asking anything, really. Hey, doesn't even have to be to us, the Vemma Trader team. Like, there's a bunch of us on here. We've got Della, Donnie, Reese, Soma, I think. Who else is around here? Marshall's still on. Joey is still around, I think, as well. And if there's others, I can't see your names because now there's so many people here. Anyway, that's awesome. But apart from the Vemma Trader team, we've also got some of the beta testers who have been around. And if they are cool with it, it's up to them. You can also direct questions to them and get some feedback from how they're finding Vemma so far. They're not paid to answer these questions. I hope that they say nice things, but I'm sure it'll be 100% good, maybe 95% good. Anyway, so let's get started with things. There's also a few giveaways that we've got because swag is always fun. We haven't figured how we'll give this stuff out, but probably just be cool questions. Will be one thing which is cool. Got a lot of Vemma Trader stickers. These little badass ninjas, pretty cool. Says the guy who has them on basically everything, like his phone, his journal, his iPad. Yeah, I've got a Vemma Trader thing going on. Got some cool key rings, which are pretty cool. My keys aren't here, so I can't pick them up and show you, but little badass ninjas. And also, so my mother-in-law has started her own little knitting shop called Knitted Toys by Joe. You can find it on Facebook and request whatever you want. Because our mascot is a ninja, she has made us a few ninja toys, which are just super cool. I love them so much. And so the prize for this guy, though, is I think we're going to go with if you can name the ninja, if someone can give it a cool name. Currently, the best name I can come up with is Gary. Just go, nice, Gary, whenever you get into trade. There's probably better ideas than that, though. Reese really wants Nigel. Yeah, so if anyone can come up with a cool name for Ninja Dude, it could even be Ninja Chick, hey, then that would be pretty fun, and they can win themselves this super cool toy. All right, so
I'll start this off, Rich. Considering we're talking about the ninja, because it was a subject that a few people have asked, is why all the ninjas when it comes to Vemma Trader? And I don't think we've told the public that story.
Yeah, cool. So the ninjas came across because in the past, Vemma Trader was originally a project about trading trends and doing breakout trades against trends. And so ninjas are cool. We were trading trends, trend trading ninja. So we were originally called Trend Trading Ninja. We've actually got trendtrading.ninja as the original domain. And it just kind of stuck around. I remember Della and I just kind of thought, ninjas are cool, man. Ninjas are great. And so when we switched away from the name Trend Trading Ninja to Vemma. The reason we got away from that, by the way, is because you've got Ninja Trader, Trading Ninja, Trending Ninja, man, just any kind of trend and trader and ninja combination you can think of, there's a competitor out there for it. And so we kind of thought, that's not going to work. Let's go find a different name. So then we settled on Vemma for Visualize, Execute, Monitor, Analyze, which Della actually put forward there. Thank you again, Della. It was, how can we just keep the ninja around? Because that guy's cool. And so we just stuck him around because he's cool.
And to add on to that, Richard, I'd probably ask or sort of get you to mention is, we're looking at bringing the ninja into the system in a few different ways. You want to talk about, or maybe if we get Josh maybe to talk about how the ninja is going to be sort of incorporated into Vemma in the future, some ideas that we've had floating around.
Soma or Della?
Oh, sorry. Did I say? Sorry, I meant Soma. Della was.
Okay, cool.
I'm fine. They're both named Josh.
Yeah, we go by our last names. Yeah, great question. So the ninja is going to be part of most of our application. So in the application, we're going to be introducing him potentially down the line, like similar to Clippy. everyone remembers Clippy Microsoft.
The really annoying paperclip that used to pop out of Excel all the time.
Yeah,
he won't be annoying.
He won't be annoying. And then he'll be appearing in a lot of our marketing material as well, as you've probably seen, and becoming a trading sensei. But down the line, we've got a lot of people in the team that are actually geniuses in the data world. And what we could do is Clippy to appear. So like, this is something crazy to think of. I'm just thinking about it now. But when you're about to change your account risk, Clippy pops up and says, don't do it. Or you're trading a short. Why are you trading a short when I know you're better at longs? So things like that is where the trading sensei or Nigel or Jeff, Nigel or Wilfred will appear. Any other?
The ninja.
Yeah, but look, open for the computer and how else we could use him across our content and across our application.
So just to elaborate on that, guys, like you guys have seen what the analyze screen can do, right? But what you've seen is more of a manual approach. As the user, we would go in there and we would muck around and use different tags to find these different combinations to see what we're really good at and maybe what we're not so good at. Eventually, the idea is once we've got enough data is to basically build a program that can somewhat look at each individual user's data and actually work out, statistically what they're really good at, and based on, basic criteria of tags and stuff that you use. So when you go and set up a trade, say you're using a bounce strategy and you're going long and you're using this amount of risk and blah, 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 maybe trading this pair and you've used that tag, basically Vemma would be able to quickly scroll through your trading history and go, oh, this is probably not a good idea because based on that criteria that you've put in, according to the analyze screen, you've got like a 25% chance of winning this trade. And that's when the ninja would sort of pop out and say, hey, I've seen your trade set up, but according to these tags, you've got like a 25% chance of getting this trade right. Are you sure you want to do it? Maybe you might want to have a look and rethink that. So it's almost going to become like that personal mentor. We've sort of dubbed him the sensei because he's the ninja, who's going to sort of, jump in and sort of say, hey, that's probably not a good idea. So you've sort of got like a mentor on your shoulder, giving you little tips and stuff throughout the way. So that's kind of how we see him being implemented in the future, which I think is going to be an amazing feature. Like everyone wants someone, standing over him. Splinter, that's a good one. Adrian, Splinter.
Yeah, I'm calculating Splinter.
Just seen that pop up. Had to call it. But yeah, I think that's going to be really cool when that's up and running. I think people are really going to like that, especially like people who are new to trading or still trying to find their way and develop different skills or different strategies. Having somebody over your shoulder saying, yeah, that's pretty good, or, that's maybe not so good. I think that's going to be a big game changer for a lot of people.
Definitely.
I like the name Splinter. I think that's pretty cool.
It does work.
I don't know if it beats Gary, but
Miyagi, that could work.
Oh, Mr. Miyagi.
Anyone got any questions? Potentially as well. We're just chatting along and discussing various features, but don't forget to drop a message in the chat or just scream out if you got any questions.
So I got a question. I'm going to pass it over to Sam. I'm going to put you on the spot if that's cool. So Sam Sillett's been one of our beta testers for a while. I would love to know how you've been finding Vemma going for you.
I'm loving it. It's definitely exceeded my expectations of, especially when I first heard about this new platform that was coming out that would sort of automate trading and incorporate your trade journal. Like I said in my review, at first I just thought, oh, that sounds cool, I'll check it out. So I registered for your live demo. And then when I finished watching that, I just thought, wow, this is insane. So I put my hand up straight away to be a beta tester. And even, since starting to use it, it's even better than I imagined that it was going to be.
That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah. So what's some of the ways that it's been better than what you expected it to be? I'm really interested. What did you think it would be? And then how did it exceed?
So initially, I thought it was going to be sort of like years ago. I used 3Commas. I don't know if anyone's ever used that. So I thought it was just going to be similar to that, where I could just set my entry, take profit, and stop loss in the one spot. Pretty much. I didn't realize to the extent that I can actually do my TA in Bema, set triggers that will automate a trade from there. Not having to go into the exchange to set my trades, not having to switch between an exchange and trading view. Everything's just all in Vemma and just go straight in. It's so user-friendly as well, navigating the platform. Everything's really clear. The layout, is very simple, but really effective. I'd hate to trade now without it. I'm just so used to it already.
I've got a question for you, Sam. Do you reckon,
Yep.
I don't know how long you've been trading for, but do you think Vemma will probably change the way you trade or the way you approach trading as a profession? And how does that look now?
Yeah, definitely. I've been trading full-time for about a year now.
Awesome.
And yeah, it will just definitely really fine-tune my skills. It's already, you can just see the potential with the analysis, especially. I love it because I love data. Yep. And just the filters you can use to really see where you do well, the setups I do well in, the setups I don't do well in. I can, with the things that I'm not doing well on, I can go and analyze those and check out those charts because they're automatically saved from my past trades in my journal. So I can have a look and work out exactly where I can improve. And then the things I'm getting right, I know, keep doing that. It's working, it's making me money. And then even for new traders, it would be like, I wish Bema was around when I first started, because it would just take out so many of the newbie mistakes that you make, like going all in, not calculating your position size correctly, not back testing, I used to set up all these amazing trade journals. And then if you're not consistent, that's it. You just forget it and you're back to square one.
Yeah, that was a big thing. Like, a lot of people build some really cool journals. Like I've seen some people build some amazing stuff. Reese had a pretty cool one a while ago, but as soon as you stop using it, the data is useless. Like if you're not getting all of the data, it's not accurate data, and you may as well just ignore it. So you almost have to do it. Yeah, it is.
I set up like one in Excel that was gave me really complex data, which I wanted, which I still didn't have to put in a lot of information, but it's still time consuming to go in all the time, putting your data in. Whereas Vemma, it's just there. Yeah,
it's done for you. Very easy. You don't have to go to another platform or open up a spreadsheet and remember what you did. And, I'll do that later. And then you forget. And then it's like, oh shit, that's right. There was 3 trades last week and I've got to go back through the data and input. And as soon as you forgot, then it's game over. It doesn't work.
And you used to have to remember to take screenshots of your trades. I used to always have those links saved to my journal. So if you forget to do that, even when you go back and review, if you don't have your chart there, you're not going to get all the information that you want.
That's right. That's awesome.
So are there certain features that you would like us to work on next?
Yep. So the thing that I would love, if there was one thing that I could have that we don't have yet, it would be for my TA to save all my charts.
Sorry, hang on. So TA to save on the charts, when you currently make a trade, it saves the TA that you've got against that trade plan?
Yep. So if I go and look at BTC, I'll open the charts, I'll have a look, but I might decide I don't want to set up a trade yet, but I've put in my support and resistance and a trend line. If I flick and go and look at another coin, when I come back to BTC, I'm back to a clean screen.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So awesome. I would like it to bring up whatever my chart previously looked like when I was in there.
Yeah, okay, cool. So keep
I love that feature.
Awesome. So we do keep the technical analysis you've done on a trade. You want to keep it there. Hey, keep it there for every time I go to Bitcoin or Ethereum, maybe a week later, please have it still there.
Or even if you haven't set up a trade, but you've drawn your chart, so you can be able to come back a day later and go, oh yeah, okay, I'll set that trade up now.
Yeah.
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 Cool. Awesome. slip you 50 bucks under the table for that.
Mark actually mentioned something, Richard, and I'm just wondering if I can give this little thing a shout out, if you guys are okay with it. Can I mention the mentoring feature that we built?
I've got no objection to you talking about anything, Donnie.
Okay. So Mark Hunter, if it's the Mark I'm thinking of, this is one of my one-on-one students from MBA. He said, Sensei actually sounds really good. As a Sensei means a teacher or instructor. And as Donnie's description was, using a ninja instructor, right? So Richard actually built a proof of concept feature into Vemma early on.
Not me, Mike did that.
Oh, Mike did it. Sorry. Now, it was working. It was just a feature that we said, this is cool, we can do it, but it's not something that we need to worry about and build out right now. So we put it on the back burner, but it is still something in the works that we can do. Now, to give you an idea of what we were going to do with that mentoring feature, if you can imagine a bunch of instructors or mentors who have access to Vemma, say, for example, myself or Reese, people can actually employ us. Is that the right word? Employ us as mentors? I don't know if that's the right word. They can essentially choose us as mentors, and we would actually, in our back end, we would actually have a list of all the students who have actually booked us as mentors. Now, in your review screen, when you're looking at your charts and you're reviewing it, you're looking at your notes and your TA, and you can add TA and look at screenshots. Us as mentors can actually also go in to review your charts. We can see what you were looking at. We can read your notes. We can draw on your charts. We can leave other notes and say, hey, not a bad chart, Mark, but I feel like you were missing this resistance line, and we can draw on the chart, leave a note for you, and sort of, mentor you that way. So we actually have that feature in the works, ready to go. We've got the proof of concept that works. We can do it. It just hasn't been prioritized as something we're going to do yet, but that's just a little bit of hint of some of the features that we will be building out in the future. We can do that. And I think that feature on its own is going to be really good for newer traders who are looking to, skill up and learn a little bit more, or just need some help with their TA. Being able to book a mentor and have someone over your shoulder reviewing your charts and giving you feedback and things like that, I think is going to be an incredible help for those sorts of people. So yeah, just want to add that in.
Great one, man. Awesome. Hey, Reese, I got a question for you. Will there be inbuilt strategies or can you build and share strategies?
Both, essentially. So at the moment, you can't share strategies, but it is something that we have spoken about long term. In terms of, okay, so there's sort of two different parts to this. So with built-in strategies, we currently have bounce and cross, and we have break and retest in the works, I think. It's planned to come not long after launch. So those will be the three main strategies. And Don and I have sort of spoken, we think those three can pretty much cover anything you want to do. There might be things we've missed, but in terms of, we've tried to think of setups that wouldn't fit one of those three, and we haven't been able to. In terms of working on, straight lines. So when you're talking setting up strategies of indicators and things, that's something else that we're working on. But again, it'd be the same three ideas of how to get into a trade that you would use. So Vemma will come with bounce and cross, and then have break and retest at some point. And we do have plans long-term for like template strategies. So let's say that I have a bull flag strategy. What I could do is select my bull flag strategy, and it's going to input all the data that usually has. So say like the tags, I could save bull flag as a tag, and I could save, 50 fib. And so as soon as I select bull flag as that strategy, it inputs all those automatically. So then all I have to handle is, where's my stop loss going? Where's my entry? Where's my take profit? Those sorts of things. In terms of being able to share them, I suppose you could probably share those strategies directly. But when you talk about sharing strategies, what I think of more is the analyze section. So we've got plans in the analyze section for you to be able to share the cards that you generate. So let's say that you have like your bull flag strategy. You can then share that card, and people can see, this guy has a 70% win rate with a 3-to-1 average risk to reward with his bull flag strategy. Like, he's a really good bull flag trader. So that's something that we have discussed and will most likely be in Bema. I've got to stop saying, soon, because if I say everything's going to be soon, it's all going to get pushed back. But yeah, that is definitely something that we have in the suggestions, if not in the works. That answer your question?
Dale answers there. Great answer,
Perfect.
Reese.
Thank you,
Exactly
Dale.
what I was looking for.
We've had 2 questions about price and release dates. So, Richard, do you want to handle that?
Sure thing, man. So release date is going to be, let's see, supposing all the stars align and we get everything that we need in place, then February 15th, we'll be doing a VIP launch. Just we've got 50 slots. That lets us test the scalability of the system. From there, it should be 1 week after that. So we're aiming for February 21 to be the official release date to launch to the world, at least to Australia and New Zealand. There's a limitation there. Now that's what we're aiming for, supposing everything goes according to plan, which so far everything is looking pretty good for, unless someone finds some crazy ass bug that we weren't encountering or weren't prepared for, then bugger, that'll get pushed out. But so far everything is looking like it's going to be Feb 15 for an initial limited launch, and then Feb 21 for the official out there launch. So there's date, and then in terms of price, so the official price will be at launch will be $99 per month Australian, or $990 paid per year if you want to go for the yearly subscription. There'll also be, though, because if hey, we've got the grand idea of what we want to get to, and we're not there yet. We've just painted the broad brushstroke of here's the main loop of the picture. So much more to come. We are going to be doing launch pricing for founders pricing for $85 per month or $850 per year. So get in early. That'll be available for probably the first week or so. I would suggest getting in on that one, because then you keep that price forever as we add more features and add more features and add more features. Which, wow, there's some cool stuff coming in future. That's going to add, I'm going to say that's going to add a lot more value, which is going to pump the price up further. So anyone who comes in future will be on whatever the price is at that point. But anyone who comes in at $85,
where'd you get that from?
$85 from now into the future. I hope that answers the question for you, man. And if you have any further questions on that, then please let us know. All right. Hey, Mr. Joshua Della. So Craig Radford asks, how many exchanges do you expect to have integration with by launch date?
Oh yeah, by launch, it will be 2. So it will be BitMEX and FTX. Just a comment on them. I mean, I don't know everyone's got their favorite exchanges, right? For me, BitMEX is pretty good in tandem with Bema, actually. I mean, kind of low liquidity in comparison to some of them. But, unless you got onto FTX early and stuff, it has the best leverage that I'm aware of, which kind of helps if you want to have a few positions open at the same time. So that's a really big plus for BitMEX, and there's kind of less symbols, which I kind of like. It's just easier to manage. FTX, on the other hand, it's kind of a good foil for BitMEX because it has so many symbols. It even has tokenized stocks on it, so you can trade tokenized Tesla stocks and stuff if you're approved for it on FTX. And if you got in early, you still get decent leverage on your account. I got in late, so I've got 2x. So depending on my trades, once I got 2, because of the risk reward and the way that works, your margin gets tied up pretty quickly. But yeah, I mean, the number of symbols on FTX is pretty cool. And I know that's Donnie's favorite. So if you have further questions about FTX, he's definitely the man. But yeah, BitMEX and FTX on launch. I think, don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure Binance would be the next, just because of its sheer size, I guess. I mean, and volume, right? Binance is a very popular one. So we get lots of requests for that.
I would say, yeah, probably Binance and OKF, probably the next 2. And also something that was not clear, or people didn't know until we got them on board was, I think it's FTX. You can't move your stop loss on the exchange. Is it FTX? No, sorry, BitMEX. BitMEX.
Binance.
Sorry, Binance. But the fact that no matter what exchange, Vemma will always offer that functionality. So it doesn't matter if it's exchange doesn't offer that functionality where you can move your stop loss after you're in an open position. Vemma will always do it. So our features agnostic, doesn't matter what exchange, and we plan to do the same thing when we integrate forex and shares and stuff, as long as the share that stock or that exchange permits. So some cool features there.
That's always been one of the favorite features I've had, because BitMEX was basically where I cut my teeth trading, and then moved over to FTX, and they've both got the ability to move your trades around by just grabbing them and sliding them. That was something I never liked about Binance. I never really liked it because it didn't have the professional tooling that most traders are used to. So yeah, the fact that even if you're a Binance fan, you've now got the ability to do that through Vemma. You can actually just grab your trades and move them around, which, yeah, they're like little things, and you wouldn't think you would really care too much. But I think once you've used it, you don't like going away from it. That, like I said, I hated Binance purely just for didn't have that little function. You just end up.
It's not only that, it's Vemma will have the same interface, right?
Yeah.
You jump on BitMEX and then you jump to FTX, and if they're two different worlds, like it takes a little while to work your way around it, because they just work differently. You know, the things are in different places. Yeah, I mean, once Vemma and more exchanges, it just takes away that learning curve, right? And everything's consistent, predictable. I think that's going to be a big advantage.
100%. That's exactly like when I first got FTX, I opened my account and I didn't touch it for like 2 or 3 months because I was like, I don't know how to use this. It's cross leverage. I don't know what I'm doing. With Vemma, you learn to use Vemma and you can use any exchange. It's all the same. There was something earlier, Della, that I think might be probably best for you. So Mark Hallaby asked, I was wondering if Vemma incorporates fees from exchanges into the results for profit and loss.
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think it's a really good question. It's worth pointing out. Vemma, basically the answer is no, not at this point. Vemma will kind of know your entries and exits, and kind of, it's basically an approximation of your P&L, right? It's basically what your P&L would be without fees, essentially. But you know, there's some work there to make Vemma fully synchronized with the exchange, and yeah, we're hoping that we can get that feature in, right? We want Vemma to be as accurate as possible. Yeah, so hopefully that answers your question. I think we can definitely get there, right? There's all sorts of endpoints. We just need to build that into, you know, once a position is closed. The challenge is, you know, Vemma is doing stuff at the time, and orders take time to fill, right? So, and Vemma, the way it's built at the moment, doesn't want to wait around to sort of wait for the orders to fill. So we just need to build a process that just keeps checking, and just, you know, once your order's filled and everything's closed out and finalized, it can go back and grab all your details, including fees, and then we can get it in there for you. Yeah, so that's the fees thing.
Cool.
Oh, sorry.
No,
There you go, Don.
Take me. Yeah.
Someone just asked a question there, JL, and I kind of want to ask him for some clarifications on this. He said, clear fee and funding rate alerts would be a very handy feature if not already integrated. Keen to hear what you mean by that, JL. Are you talking about an alert that says, hey, funding's about to occur on an open position and you might have to pay another fee? Is that sort of there? Okay, interesting. Okay, that could probably be done. I reckon we could probably get that data from FTX. It probably should spit out funding periods. Well, it's every hour.
Yeah, it's every hour, so that's gonna be a lot of alerts.
Yeah.
I think it depends, right? I think like BitMEX has some pretty long funding periods.
BitMEX is 8 hours, so 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Every hour on the hour, I think.
But I do have a question actually for the traders. I find the fees thing interesting. I don't really pay much attention to it. I just kind of assume that it's not that big of a deal. But, you know, there's a lot of talk about fees and, you know, putting trades on to dodge fees and this and that. I'm going to throw it to Reese. You know, like how significant is the fee aspect of
so in terms of, okay, actually, this is something I don't think I've spoken about before. In terms of entry and exit fees, I don't even consider them. They're just the cost of doing business. Like I couldn't trade without them. I have to pay them. So I don't even think about them, to the point that I don't own any FTT or I own some BNB, but not to save on fees, because I've always thought the risk I'd be taking by buying FTT and it potentially going down is way higher than what I'm paying in fees. FTT did really well last year, so did BNB, but I could have bought the top. So, that's just the way that I've done it with those personally. Again, personally, I'm probably going to load up on them. If we do continue to have a bear market for a while, I'll probably try and pick up some on the cheap, more just because I think they're decent buys for myself than to be saving on the fees. When it comes to funding fees, I think about them a little bit differently. So it's a pretty rough rule, but I try and take trades I'll be in for more than 2 days on a quarterly contract, so I'm not paying funding fees. And trades if I'm scalping, then I'll do it on perps, because you're not going to pay that many funding fees, and it's just better to have the higher liquidity. I'll pretty often short on perps and not worry about funding fees, because especially for the last 2 years, probably funding fees have almost always been long paying shorts. I did pretty well. I think I was short from like 60K when we first dropped from there. And, I did pretty well out of that trade, but the whole time price is coming down, I got paid out pretty well on funding fees as well. That doesn't mean it'll always be that way, right? When the market eventually does turn super bearish, it'll probably switch, and I might start taking longs on perps and avoiding shorts on perps. But yeah, in terms of entry and exit fees, to me, it's just the cost of doing business. I don't worry about them too much. Yeah.
I'll add to the entries and exits fees. So you go, Della. You keep going.
I was just going to say, it definitely sounds like it's non-negligible, right? If you put in that sort of much thought into it, it's definitely a factor.
Yeah,
Sure.
and that's It's not something you want to ignore, because especially with funding fees, like you might be getting all your profits eaten and you might have no idea. On BitMEX, so BitMEX you get paid a maker fee. So if you set a limit order, you actually get paid for putting that in the books. And I used to love that, right? I used to scalp on 100x at times, and I would be up as soon as my order filled. I'd be up like 8%, purely based on what I got paid on the fees. So they're not zero, but yeah, I just always look at them as something I've got to pay, so I don't really worry about them too much, I guess.
I'll tack on a quick question. Someone just popped up there because it's related, I guess. Are they tax deductible?
Yeah. I mean, I can't give tax advice because I'm not qualified. I saw David Hunt there before. I think he is, but I won't drag you up for it. But yeah, my understanding at least is that anything, any because you pay capital gains, right? Or depending on how you're structured, but you'll pay tax on your gains in trading. So then any losses or any education, Vemma itself, anything that you're spending essentially on your trading, you should be able to claim, and fees would come under that banner, is my understanding as someone who does not know any tax code.
Yeah, there's actually two sides to it. So somebody who is essentially like a hobby trader will have to pay like capital gains tax and things like that. But somebody who trades as a profession, which doesn't necessarily mean they have to be a full-time trader, but basically anybody who trades regularly would most likely be deemed as a trader profession in the eyes of the ATO, for example, in which case trading is the way you make money. So anything you have to pay to make money is essentially a tax deduction. So whether it's internet, computers, trading fees, like Reece said, Vemma subscription, anything that you have to pay in order to make money from your profession is a tax deduction. So yeah, fees are a tax deduction like that.
Like Reece now gets to do a lot of videos for us, and so he's going to claim his haircut as a tax deduction.
100%. Realised today that I can probably claim it. So
which he gets one like every 3 days. The only other thing to add to that, when it comes to trading fees, depending on the leverage and lot sizes that you're using, they can get pretty hefty. If you're trading a small balance, you're probably never really going to notice it. And if you're getting in and out of trades quite often, again, you're probably not going to notice it. even though, for example, FTX charges a funding rate every 1 hour instead of like most exchanges would charge every 8 hours, but the rates are so small. We're talking like 0.00035% of your position size. You're not really paying a lot in fees unless you are using very, very large lot sizes. You know, if your lot sizes are in excess of say $50,000 or $100,000, then yeah, you'll be paying, you know, a couple $100 in fees every trade. And if you're holding a perp for a long period of time, they can really add up, especially if you're in a long position. But in most cases, if the price action is fast enough, the profit that you make from the long position will destroy any fees that you've paid. However, if you're sitting in a long position for a long period of time that is actually consolidating, so you're actually not really have that P&L, then the fees can start eating into that if you got a big lot size. But I wouldn't get too hung up on it. If you can reduce fees, cool, but I wouldn't get too hung up on trying to pick an exchange based on trade fees, because it shouldn't change your outcome a whole lot.
Yeah, unless you're doing some sort of like, you know, bot trading strategy that's maximizing fees or something, you should be making a lot more off just your sheer profit and loss. Your fees should be negligible. Like when Donnie's saying, you know, sitting in a long for a long time. So I think both him and I have spoken about Zoran Cole.
Yeah,
he sat in an ETH trade and made over $1 million. Yeah, it was over $1 million, wasn't it?
It was over $1 million US, but
yeah,
fee wise was I think over 250K.
Yeah. So, but you know, he's not going to care about that too much.
When you're banking 750, you'd sort of cop the fee.
Yeah, and that was a trade he sat in for, I reckon it was like 9 months. It was ages.
Yeah,
I think that might be a bit long, but I think it was over 3.
Yeah, it was well over 3 months.
Yeah.
That was back in early 2020, I think it was, that run up to 14 grand before we went bearish again. It was during that period.
Yeah.
So ETH would have probably only been like, I don't know, 2 grand or something.
Might have been when it was in the hundreds. Oh, like, and gone to 2 grand, you mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, unless you're building a strategy around fees, they should be negligible, you know, compared to what you're making.
Scalping is different because you're taking such small profit, but you're still paying that entry exit fee. Like you wouldn't even consider funding because you'd probably never get hit. But your entry and exit, you've got to clear that to make profit. And in most cases, when you're scalping, and I'm talking about like 5 minute scalping, if you're trying to get like 0.5%, but you're probably paying close to 0.5% in fees, then you sort of got to give yourself a buffer. That's the only time fees would really come into it.
I remember an early discussion Donnie and I had around fees and a potential fun thing we could do with fees is, so Vemma currently at the moment just kind of says enter on market, exit on market. The Donnie and I were talking about an idea ages ago of, well, instead of just entering blindly and just taking it, we could say take Reese's approach and try and get the order on the books. Check if the order, go for a cross and put the price below, put the order in the books. If it comes down and picks it up, great, we'll take the funding fee. But maybe price just continues up. No, it's not good enough. No, it's not good enough. No, it's not going to take it. All right, we've tried 3 times over the space of a minute to get that happening on the books. Let's go ahead and just take the market order in this case and take the hit and go up from there. And then do the same thing for take profit. Hey, take profit, going to go ahead and try and get the funding, the market maker fee. Couldn't get it. All right, let's just take the exit now before price goes in the wrong direction. I think that would be a pretty cool one, but that's going to be admittedly a down the line feature, not something we're going to be working on anytime soon.
We can definitely do it. I had a bot that used to do it. It used to slip my order in 50 cents under the current price. So trading on BTC, USD, perp on BitMEX, basically when it hit my chart and went to enter, it wouldn't ever enter on market. It'd enter 50 cents under market and try and get that, make a rebate. It worked pretty well.
That's something where
as long as you got the liquidity, there's a good chance you're going to get hit. So you take it.
Cool. So Donnie, Craig Radford has just asked after that discussion there. So you can't set limit orders in Vemma. Do you want to take that one?
Yeah. So you technically can, Craig. It depends what you're asking regarding limit. So let's say if you wanted to set essentially like a limit order at a specific price, then yeah, you can do that because it'll be a bounce strategy. When price comes down and hits it, essentially that's creating a limit order. However, the way that Vemma handles it, like Richard said, it would be executing as a market order, but on a limit condition. However, again, this isn't, I think, I can't remember where this is on our schedule, but we do want to still implement the basic features that most people would be used to on an exchange. Not that we want to encourage it, because exchange features are very, very limited, but like some people like to go in and just type the price and say, I want to buy some at this price, or I want to sell some at this price. So we will have that feature in the future, but this tool is really targeted for like technical traders, people who use technical analysis and build strategies and have trade plans. So it's more advanced than it would be for somebody who just comes in and says, I want to buy some Doge at whatever, at 50 cents. But we will eventually have those features in there to set limit orders. And like Richard said, we will eventually also have the ability to do these little tricky things to get limit orders in the books. But yeah.
Cool, man. Cool. Oh, sorry, you got something?
I've got a question.
Go for it.
Ryan and David earlier on mentioned a lot about the candle close feature and how it's one of their favorite features in Vemma. I thought it'd be a good idea to get a quick demo for those people that are in the call that don't know what that feature does. Bonnie, do you want to pop up a Vemma screen to give someone to show someone?
Yeah, I'll do that. So let me just move some stuff out of the way. So the candle close feature, let me just move this. This is a really good one, and something that I think most people, especially who trade breakouts, are going to love. I don't know how many times I've heard people sort of say that I'm struggling with breakout trades because they always happen when I'm at work. Because most people build a strategy around breakout trading, which is when it breaks out and closes above, you would enter, but then they'll be at work and they'll miss the candle close and they just keep missing trades. So one of the really cool features that we have built in is one of the conditions, I should say, is the candle close feature. So I'll just draw what happened there? Sorry, there we go. I missed that one. So I'll just put this in here just as an example, ignore my crappy drawing, but let's just say, for example, we're looking for a break above this trend line and then maybe targeting like a supply block up here, something like that. Or actually, let me draw another trend line in like this, and we can also set up a break below Bravo. So we are essentially, sorry, I'm just trying to move some stuff out of my way. Where is this one? Get my little pen tool out. So we're either expecting a break above alpha and we're looking to go long, or in case we break below Bravo, we're looking to go short. So when we go to set up a trade, we're going to set up the trade on alpha first. So let's go alpha, direction long, strategy will be a cross, and then which is basically a cross or a break above alpha. And then we're going to add a condition, which is candle close. So we're on the 4-hour time frame right now, right? So basically it needs a 4-hour close above alpha to say, yes, enter the trade. If we say spike up, say we got like, say whatever, an hour to go, let's say it spikes up and it sits here and it's hovering around, and then at last minute, it sort of closes back down here, it actually won't enter. Now, normally the only way you can actually enter this type of trade traditionally is either waiting for the candle to close and taking action, which means you've got to sit in front of the computer the whole time or set alerts and then jump back and forward to your phone and things, or you got to use what's known as a buy stop. But with a buy stop, you would have actually been pulled into this trade, because as soon as it breaks above, it's going to trigger your entry, whether it's a limit order or a market order, and you're going to enter this trade, but then all of a sudden it comes and closes back below. So using this candle close feature will stop you from accidentally entering a trade you didn't want to, and it will also monitor a trade for you and enter it based on that condition, instead of you having to sit there in front of it waiting for the trade to happen. I'll just cancel that one for a second, but we can also set up another one on Bravo and go Bravo direction short, same sort of deal, cross, and then add the condition candle close. So now if, let's say, for example, we spike up, we wick up, we close below, we haven't entered alpha, we then come down and close below Bravo, we're actually going to enter the short. So it means we never got pulled into this trade. So there's no loss there, but we ended up entering the short, and you don't even have to be in front of the computer. It'll just be completely automated. And yeah, that's the candle close feature. It's pretty brilliant. If you're a breakout trader or you need a candle close as a condition, like if it's part of your trade plan, whatever your strategy looks like, if it requires, a break above this and a candle close, or a bounce on this and a candle close, then that'll work. So let's look at it a different way. Let's get rid of this, all this mess. And I'll even get rid of the alpha trend line so we can just focus on Bravo. So let's say now what we're wanting is that we want to come down to Bravo and bounce on here, but we want it to close above. We don't like, if it wicks below and does anything down here, we don't want to touch it. But if it can bounce and close above, we want to enter. So now we can choose the bounce strategy. And well, I've already got, I'll just delete that for a second and then add it again. Candle close. So now it has to bounce and close above. It has to close on top of it to actually confirm that we have bounced, and we might continue up. So you can go long. So yeah, candle close feature. This is only just like one of the conditions that we've added. We'll be adding a lot more as time goes on, and we'll sort of announce updates and stuff like that when we finish new strategies or new conditions to put there. But you think of it as just like when you're building a trade plan, you've got a whole set of rules. This is basically a rule, but it's a rule that you don't have to sit in front of the computer and watch and monitor. Whereas you don't normally get that type of tooling on a traditional exchange. If we talk about Binance and BitMEX and FTX and stuff, you just don't get that type of features or tooling. You're very, very limited. So
can you just go back for a sec, Donnie, and share your screen?
Sorry, bro.
So I think it was Craig before that asked about limit orders. So because I use limit orders a lot in my trading, all that I do now is pretty much what Donnie's done there, and just set my distance to activate to 0% and don't have operate on candle close, because that just means as soon as it touches Bravo, it's going to buy. So you can do that with a horizontal line, and it'll do exactly the same as a limit order. But one of the things that I think is really cool is that you can do it on a slope trend line, and then rather than having to come back and move your order every candle close, and to match the trend line every day to sort of keep pace with the trend line, it just follows Bravo. So then as soon as it touches Bravo, it's just going to buy.
Yeah. So if you think of a traditional limit order, you're technically only have the ability to do horizontal. Sorry, I'm just going to quickly mute someone. You've technically only got the ability to do horizontal limit orders because you're putting it in at a price. You're typing in a price, and that's your limit order. So if you were trying to go, oh, look, you might be looking at a uptrend, and you might put a limit order here. Oops, sorry, mute. Sorry.
I don't know if I take the host, we'll steal your screen share, so I'm not going to press it. Sorry.
That's all right. I just added a couple of people in. So you might be looking at this uptrend, and you've got a limit order set here. But then, let's say it comes down like this, and a couple of hours later it's up here. You're probably thinking, well, now I've got to go and change my limit order to here. And the further price goes, if you keep missing it, you're going to have to keep changing your limit order price and keep moving it up, moving it up, moving it up. So as Reece said, all you got to do is just make that like that. And now you never have to touch it. Just leave it. As soon as it hits that trend, you're in, and that acts like a limit order. So, yeah.
Awesome. Before you,
someone probably saying the same thing I was. Someone asked what the other conditions were.
Okay, so in the case of a bounce, our other conditions where we've got expiry date. Now, I don't use this feature much, but I definitely see how it could be a really handy feature in some circumstances. And
personally, I love it.
I'll give an example of when you might want to use it, right? So let's say you've seen this little wedge. You've seen this little wedge here, right? And you're probably looking at it going, oh yeah, this is going to break out soon. But if it doesn't break out by then, what do you want to do? You want to keep this trade active? Because I'll put a horizontal here just to sort of, a vertical line, just to sort of give you an idea of that time and date. Now, let's say if price was sort of bouncing around here and you're waiting for this breakout, and then it still hasn't happened, right? And then it does this. Technically, you're going to enter a short position because this Bravo trend line, is essentially extended into infinity, right? And as soon as price actually breaks it, it's going to enter. But technically, price has just gone sideways and walked out of this trend line because the trend line was facing up. So by putting an expiry date on it, you're basically saying if it hasn't broken out of this trend, either broken above or broken down by this date, the end of this wedge, cancel my trade, literally delete it out of the order books. Because essentially what you've done here is you've put an order in the book. It's on Binance or FTX, whatever you're on. You've got an order in the book saying, do this for me when we get that happening. But if it passes this date, you're literally just saying, delete my orders out of the book. This trade's not going to work. So that's the expiry date feature. So all you got to do is you put a little thing there and say, oh yeah, about that date, 5th of Feb, 20. So we can just do it as a date picker. We can go, okay, 5th of Feb, 8:00 PM. Cool. So basically, if it hasn't entered a trade by 8 PM by this blue line, it'll just cancel this order. So this isn't an expiry date on an open position. It's an expiry date on a monitoring position. So if it enters the trade here, it doesn't expire by here and close the position. As soon as you have entered a position, it's ignoring that expiry date. So the expiry date is purely just for the monitoring to actually enter a trade. So that's the expiry date feature. Obviously, we've gone over the candle close. And then on this one, on the bounce strategy, we've also got distance to confirmation. So when we look at, get rid of that, let me zoom in a little bit on our Bravo trend line. The ideal way we got to do this is we got to get this little tool up. So we've got a measurement tool. So let's say what you want to see happen is price is going to come up and then it's going to come down and hit here. And then it's going to bounce off a little bit like that. And that gives you that confirmation that we've actually bounced off trend. So now we can come and do is you can just sort of measure roughly how big that bounce is and just sort of go, okay, 1%. So we can go type in 1%. So now what's going to happen is, I'll just delete that now out of the way. We're going to come down, we're going to bounce on this trend line, but it has to bounce at least 1% away from the trend line and then it will enter here. All right. So the reason you might want to use this as a condition is what happens if we come down, just bounce a little bit, sit there for a second and then break. This won't enter that trade because it needs to actually bounce away from it to confirm that we've actually bounced and we might continue to go. So that's what that feature is there. This can be really good on horizontals as well. So let's say, let me just delete all of that. Actually, what I'll do is I'll cancel this, get rid of that, delete all this. Now, let's say you're trying to catch a lucky dip and you're thinking like, oh, you know what? If we come right down to this low and bounce here, that could be a really good trade, right? So what we can do is we can go and add a trigger right down the bottom here, right? Something like that. And then when we go to set up the trade, we go long, bounce, and then add distance to confirmation. And we can say, put whatever, we can put 0.5% or, you can put 2% or whatever. So what this will do is basically what we want to see is price to come down, might muck around like this. We want it to see it bounce, move up by 2%, and then it will enter there. And then hopefully that's going to send us to the moon, right? But what happens if price comes down and just busts straight through this level? It's not going to enter that trade. So like traditionally, you would input a limit order onto this situation. You'd put a limit order in the books on the exchange. And as price comes down, boom, you're in that trade. And then boom, you're almost instantly stopped out or liquidated if you didn't have stop losses in. So having this distance to confirmation will stop you getting pulled into a trade that just rockets straight through your entry. Instead, it'll wait for a bounce. And if it doesn't see the bounce, dead, doesn't want to enter it and it's gone. So yeah, that is that feature.
Cool, man.
There's
Awesome.
another one there that somebody mentioned was min RR as a feature.
Yep. Okay. So, all right, let me draw up an example for that one. So let's go back to our trend line and let's say we are still targeting this area here. So let's do our setup and let's say, look, we're expecting a bounce on this trend line somewhere. That's our target. And I want my stop loss to be under this market structure. So I'm just going to put it like that. All right. Now this trade currently, if it was to enter, say here somewhere, that's a nice juicy 4.3 to 1 risk to reward, which is awesome. Actually, what I'll do is I'll get this and bring up our risk management so we can see it. That's a nice big risk to reward. So let's input our stop loss. So we're going to go a fixed strategy with a value of 36294. And we're also going to do our take profit value of 42669. So our setup is set. Why is that saying no? Did I do long bounce just activate? Why are we saying we've got an error? Did I not put in the right price? 36294. Oh, I don't know. I was going to say, it seemed right to me. Right. So basically where it is right now, that's a nice 4-to-1, which is really great. But what happens if we don't bounce on this trend line until about here? Well, if we enter about here, it's now a 2-to-1. Okay, that's reasonable. I'll enter a 2-to-1. But what happens if we don't bounce until it's like up here? Now it's a 1.18. And technically it's going to keep monitoring this, and it's got your stop loss and take profit set. So we can actually say, okay, look, the way I trade, based on my win rate, I don't want to enter anything that's less than, say, a 2.2 to 1 risk to reward. So basically, this will continue to monitor this trade. Oh, looks like it's Bitcoin's having a little nice bounce at the moment. It still keep monitoring this trade. It's 5-to-1, 4-to-1, 3-to-1, 2-to-1. Oh, there we go. So basically, if it doesn't bounce on this trend line at least until here, it's going to ignore this. It's going to say, nah, it's not within my risk to reward now. So it's actually going to abandon this trade. And so it won't abandon this trade. It just won't enter this trade, even if it's triggered. So minimum risk to reward, I think, is an absolutely fantastic feature, especially when you're talking about a trade on a sloping trend line, because your risk to reward will change a lot depending on when you actually hit it. Now, when it comes to a horizontal level, so let's say, for example, we're looking at this candle close on alpha. And let's say, I don't know where our stop loss might be, something like that. So like right now, it looks really good. It's a nice 2.7 to 1. But what happens if we've got the candle close feature and this candle doesn't close until up here? And that happens sometimes. Sometimes you get a really big breakout candle. It's not until here. Now, all of a sudden, that's a 1.14. So can you imagine if you didn't have a minimum risk to reward and we get a candle close breakout out here, you've actually got a 1.14 to 1 risk to reward, which is not very good at all. You'd have to have a very, very high strike rate to even be close to profitable using a strategy like that. So having the minimum risk to reward is really good for discipline, to making sure you only get into high quality trades and never get into, like, never chase a silly trade. So yeah, I think that is a very, very important feature, not just for discipline, but also for profitability for a strategy. And the fact that it's automated and you don't have to worry about monitoring it. You know, how many times have you, if you were watching this trade now, right, you might have seen that breakout just then and gone, oh, should I enter? Or maybe I'll wait for the candle close. And then all of a sudden it gets right up here and you're like, oh, I'll just enter now, like it's going to go. And then you go and enter here. And then all of a sudden it comes right back and closes down here or something like that. And you're sort of like, oh my God, why didn't I just wait for the candle close? That happens a lot when you're live trading. When you're live trading, you're more susceptible to the emotional cycles of trading, and you're probably going to make silly mistakes. So this is what I love about automation. And I started using automation years ago, and it really helped me with my trading, because I felt that if I was live trading, I've got emotion in the game, and I normally make mistakes if I've got emotions. Whereas automating it and just saying, here's my rules, do this, it's either going to work or it's not. I can completely remove my emotions out of the game. And then it comes down more to my trading system, whether my trading system's profitable and how good I am at identifying trade setups. And if you practice well enough and you're good at identifying trade setups, and you've got a strategy or system that is profitable, by removing all emotions, you can just start printing money. You just keep doing the exact same thing and just keep collecting the money. You don't have to worry about, the emotion side of it. And that's what I really love about Vemma.
So Donnie, on that note, there's a question here from Luke Benjamin, who says, have you noticed a difference in your win rate using Bema in comparison to your traditional way of trading? Now, what I figured I could do for this one is actually pass this over to one of the betas, because I'm going to say, yes, I have, because I have, since I built the freaking system, and that's what I built it for. But David Lee, he's been one of the beta testers with us. I'd love to pass that Luke Benjamin question over to you. Did you hear it? Can you say it again, or are you good, man?
No, all good. Thanks, mate.
Cool. I have no idea what he's going to say here. I'm actually really sure.
I hope he says yes.
Oh God, you're all going to hate me. I'd love to be able to say that it's like Vemma is the magic pill that's going to magically make your win rate, shoot through the roof. But for me, realistically, I think it's still very much on you as a trader to make your own decisions and do what you need to do. For me personally, what Vemma has allowed me to do is try things and do things I've never been able to do before. So I've been really, getting the hang of learning how to break out trade. And Donnie's just spoke about all the benefits of how Vemma makes that easier. Admittedly, right now, my win rate's not that great. That could be my own stupidity. That could be the market conditions, but it's allowing me to work out what's working well in my hands. What are the stupid things that I'm doing? And I've, going into this, when I first saw Vemma, I was like, oh, cool. It's all about automating away the trades. And I don't have to think too much, but really the golden egg is the analyze function for me personally, is being able to go back and look at things and go in such a simple way. As the boys said, we've all got our journals and, we build them to look very sexy, but it's very easy to fall off that wagon. And this is where Vemma has really, really helped out. So it's not necessarily, guaranteed to get your win rate up, but it's giving you so many useful tools to build your strategies to get your win rate up and to figure out what's working for you. I think that's the best way I'd say that. And I hope I'm not going to get kicked out.
No, that's a really good answer.
That's a really good answer.
That's exactly what it's for. Like, I mean, I'm probably biased because of my involvement, but like, I don't necessarily look at Vemma as this magic tool that will make you super profitable because it's some magic thing. It has the ability to make you a better trader because you have the ability to analyze and literally put a finger on what it is you're doing wrong and what it is you're doing right. And David, I wanted to ask you a quick question because for you guys who don't know, David's another one of my one-on-one students. And we went over this last week. We were talking about bad habits. All right. And we went through a bad habits list. There was plenty in there, right? There's plenty in there we were going through, but
just a few, mate.
I was having a chat with Reese the other day, and this is another feature that we're looking to add on, which is basically on that review page. So when you go to your review page after a trade and you're looking at your chart and you're keeping notes, we actually want to have a little pop out with the bad habit checklist there. So when you're actually reviewing your chart, you can go in there and say, my stop loss was too tight. Tick that box. I moved this. Here, my target was way too high. Click that button. All the things you did wrong that you can just basically click the button to say, yep, I stuffed up here. Yep, I stuffed up here, so on and so forth. And then adding that analysis into the analysis screen. So not only can you go into the analysis screen and put all the tags in and see what's good and what's not, you can also check your bad habits list and go, ooh, yeah, I've been doing this a lot, so you can adapt straight away. So that's something that we want to do. I think
David, that is a brilliant answer, by the way. I think that's even better than just a fake yes.
Brutal honesty, boys.
Absolutely, that's what this is, man. All right, so question for you. You've been using Vemma for a couple of weeks now. Is there a particular feature that you would say, guys, you don't have this and I really want this, give it to me, yo? Or give me these, plural could be fun.
This is such a great thing because one of the best things about the beta testing has been how receptive the boys have been to all the suggestions. Like, I feel so bad for the avalanche that we put them under, but they're always like, yep, it's on the list. It's on the list. They never, they always, it's a cliche how there's no such thing as a dumb question, but these guys are really that open to it. Probably can't say anything new that already hasn't been talked about. The classic, doing your TA, being able to walk away and come back. That's always a big one. Oh gosh, put me on the spot. Off the top of my head, what else was I looking around at? Oh, just little things like tags. Because I misspell a lot of shit and I put enter and it's entered as a tag and then it's there forever and I can't delete it and it kills my soul because my own OCD. And then another thing we're looking at was, I think we mentioned we're possibly looking at having, say, like a standardized list of the most commonly used tags And then what that might allow you to do is pull that data out from everyone who's using that particular tag and see what they're doing. Particularly, someone might call it an ascending wedge versus a rising wedge, and just those little differences there. That's probably the other thing that's coming to mind right now as well.
Awesome. From the data analysis perspective, going in there. That's cool.
Absolutely.
What about conditions? What other extra conditions would you like to see there? Obviously, we've only got a couple there at the moment, which we feel is like enough to do most things. But we've got some pretty crazy ideas there on extra conditions. We've talked about having things like RSI and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What do you think would be a really, really handy condition to add in there?
So probably a lot, just your indicator-based triggers. So a lot of the people who trade use CCI or RSI, probably the most common ones. I'll be honest, personally, I don't do a whole lot with them, but I'm open to learning how to use that, because automating it's definitely going to be a lot easier. But yeah, those would probably be the main ones, I suspect.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Is there a feature that removes your emoji?
So
I think it was Sam who might have suggested this. I know we've talked about it already, but I'm pretty sure Sam brought it up in the beta channel regarding having your trade plan on the screen. Was that you, Sam? Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Because I think that is like we've discussed it before, but when you brought it up, you sort of said it in a way that was like, yes, we need to do that.
Yeah, so I want to be able to do everything within Bema. So I don't want to have to go to TradingView. I don't want to have to go to an exchange. And I don't want to have to go to Excel or Word where I've got my trade plan typed up. So I want to be able to click on a button somewhere in Vemma that says trade plan. And I want it to have, set criteria that you want to have. So what's my minimum risk to reward on a trade? What's the maximum account balance I'm prepared to risk on a trade? And then have a space for you to put your answers in. And then so that then when I go and analyze my trades at the end of a week, if I can see that something's not working for me, I might want to go and tweak my trade plan. So I want to still stay in Bema and do that. I just want to be able to go click on my trade plan, edit it, save it, back to trading.
Yeah, cool. So it's more about having Vemma as that all-in-one solution where you don't have to use multiple tools. You can just use the one and do everything within it.
Yeah, I don't want to be flicking screens. I just want to be in Vemma.
Yep, cool.
The one tool to rule them all.
There's a question that I think Luke has been mentioning. Sorry, JL, apologies. JL has been mentioning, and I think Della could probably answer this one. Will the TradingView indicators or similar be available within Bema? And another one was, can you bounce on indicators such as EMA? They go hand in hand.
Yeah, well, I think we kind of just touched on that, right? With David there. So we don't do triggers off indicators yet. It's all the indicators are based off the just the candle data on the chart. And that excludes log too. So I think some people use log. Them is not set up to trigger off that. So yes, you're straight up candle data and price action that the trend lines are designed to work off. So indicators as a condition, something that definitely gets raised a lot. Just a couple of things I saw in the questions as well is, other TradingView features like templates and stuff like that. We don't have that yet. But yeah, I mean, it goes back to having everything in Vemma, right? And not having to go anywhere. And that includes TradingView. That's the goal. So all that stuff that you guys use, we want to bring it into Vemma. We don't want you to have to go to TradingView, to the exchange, to 3 commas that I saw someone just mention. With actually a pretty good idea about receiving alerts from 3 commas is an interesting idea I haven't heard before, actually. But basically, we want to make them all redundant. And bring all the features in into Bema, right? And in regards to the TradingView itself, is quite pivotal and central to Bema. I mean, you see the UI, it's front and center, right? It's bigger than our own UI components, right? Like that's what we built it around. So 100% in our plans to get those features over into Bema. And I'm going to segue into another question back to Summer, just to get him back. We do get a lot of feedback, and a lot like the ideas will go for days and take us centuries to implement, right? Or maybe not. We'll get more people on. If it's just me and Mike, it will. But in terms of feedback and features and roadmaps, Summer, can you give the guys the idea of like, what's the plan there? Like, how are we prioritizing? How do people give, what's the plan around all, feature requests and roadmaps?
Yeah, great question. So we're introducing a tool to our betas very shortly, and then it'll be opened up to the rest of the community. Ability to sort of post your suggestions up in a feed, and then the community can upvote your suggestions or anyone's suggestions, or comment on a suggestion and build upon that suggestion from the community. So the more, treat your votes wisely, because the more you vote something, the more likely we're going to do it. And it's all going to be in one place. We're also going to have a place where we'll see where our release notes will go and what's changed in Vemma as time goes on. But a big part of our work is listening to what you have, all your suggestions, all your feedback. The beta testers are one example, but the community, once we go live, is huge. So we'll be listening to those channels. So please use them. They'll be a big part of the Vemma app. So you'll be able to access them inside the Vemma app quite easily. So excited to get those suggestions in there and hear from everyone's feedback. Good question.
Just unrelated. So I just saw something coming about trading to Pine editor and Pine scripts. I think that's worth mentioning because anyone who, I guess some people like to play with that sort of stuff, right? We use the SDK. It's not the full version, feature set that trading view use themselves. So there is some sort of restrictions on what they expose. And some of this so templates and stuff, I'm quite confident totally achievable. Pine scripts and Pine editor stuff, I'm not so sure about. That's definitely a challenge. Richard's shaking his head, but I honestly don't think anything's impossible, right? Pine scripts per se, no, and anything similar to that is probably a fair way away. But I still think there would be, if we get enough votes, on Summer's board and stuff, we dedicate time to it. We could probably, I wouldn't rule out coming out of the way to, generate custom indicators, but we would have to roll our own. So I guess the point is, there's just some things that it will be quite difficult with their SDK. Pine scripts is probably one of them, unfortunately.
So the Pine script aspect of it, like actually using Pine, the exact same language of Pine script inside of Vemma Trader, that's going to be that's a hard one. Matthew Forrester is saying the new V4 based around Python, I think it may be easy to adopt in future. Hells yes, that would be wonderful. More so though, I think without that, and supposing that was a long way away, what would be more so a thing would be, I know Donnie and I have spoken a few times about introducing a Vemma indicator pack, or custom Vemma indicators. So let's say, picking on Matthew Forrester here, if he was to say, hey guys, I'm willing to share with you the moody indicator and make that something that's available on Vemma, then we could say, hey man, that's cool. You've got the Pine script for that. You give that to us. You own the Pine script, man. We can make that work inside of Vemma by just translating the language over into our backend language. And now we can put that onto the chart, because we can push anything up to the chart. It doesn't have to be candle data. We can make our own indicator and then push it up. So then we would be able to take that, and now that would be available for people in Vemma Trader. And then because it's data we're sending to the chart, and we've got the code on the back end, which means the monitoring agent that we've got has got it, we'd then also be able to use that as conditions. So only do it when we cross the moody indicator and we're below trend line and RSI is whatever value. So we can get really, really, really fun on that one. Yes, incredible, love. Oh my God, you can be a kid in a candy shop. I'm sure we can make something happen there. That'll be, so yeah, there's my answer to that one. All right, I have thoroughly enjoyed hearing from the betas, and it's gone well so far. So let's go 3 for 3. Hey, Dan Martin over in New Zealand, man. How are you doing, dude?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, man. How you doing?
Yeah, good, man.
So you've been a beta tester for a while. How's that been working out for you, man?
Oh, but it's good. I like it because, well, it's pretty much, I grew up on BitMix, so when I seen Donnie do the demo, I was just like, bro, I need that. Yeah, growing up on BitMix and then seeing the display, I was like, fuck, that's just like BitMix and then automated. I still can't even talk about it, man. It's just, it's a lot easier. Like Donnie said, man, it takes a lot of emotion out of your trading anyway. You can just set up, walk away. If it doesn't go off, check it in the morning. If it hasn't gone off, look at the chart. Oh, well, fuck, it's gone short, flip it.
Yeah,
No
that's
emotion,
awesome.
man. Like,
Are there
fuck, long, short,
particulars-
doesn't even matter.
Are there particular strategies that you've been using on Vemma that have been working? Or
Nah,
been
man,
not
like,
working? What have you used?
What I like about it is the simplicity of it. It's so easy, man. That's the best thing about it, is that's how trading should be. Easy setup, easy do everything, and set up a couple of minutes and then go by your day. Go and do something else.
How much
while your
time do you
day's
reckon
playing
you
out.
spend charting? Like, I know my trading's turned into more like a half an hour mucking around in the morning, and then I don't look at it for the entire day. So what does your day look like now, Dan, when it comes to setting up trades?
Right, I can, like, it feels like some days I haven't charted for a couple of days because I'll just click on Vemma, and if the trade's in, I'll monitor the trade, move my stop loss. If not, well, then I'll look at another trade. Might take a couple of minutes, look through a couple of charts and set them up. Like, you know, we don't have to have 1,000 fucking trades going a day. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I used to have silly things like that when I was trading Binance and BitMEX manually. But now setting up trades automatically, well, setting them up and then letting them play out is just, it's a whole nother ball game, man. Especially with the cross feature. Oh, if it doesn't cross and if the candle doesn't close above it, man, oh, love that. So yeah, candle cross feature. I just like how easy it is to use. I thought that was the whole point of Vemma, and making it a lot easier, and it did, man.
That's good, man. Love it.
That's awesome, man.
Got a
Is
question.
there?
Sorry.
No, you go, Della.
What are you doing with your free time now, man?
Oh, now that I've got a new laptop, hunting NFTs hard now.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I've turned him into an NFT fiend. So he's just going nuts on research.
Yeah, Phantom Wallet, Magic Eden. Fuck, let's go.
Oh shit.
And sunny days. Wow, near the end of the holiday, so kids will have to get their last few swims in before school starts again.
Someone had a Doniro had a question. This one might be a good one for Reese, I reckon. So Doniro says he uses 3 commas to trade with alerts from TradingView. So basically alerts from TradingView trigger his 3 commas sort of setup. Will Vemma be able to receive these at some point in the future? Just hoping to cut some costs. So yeah, Reese, if you're there.
Yeah, so I was actually thinking about this when Dell was answering the Pine script question, because I think he said further down that it's a custom indicator that's giving the alerts. So, you know, I always assume things are easy for the devs, but I assume it might be easier for them to set something up that receives that alert the same way that 3 commas is currently for you. I would assume that'd be easier for them to set up than, you know, incorporating the entire Pine script ability. But yeah, like I think long term, one of the goals is to sort of eliminate the need for TradingView. Now, obviously, you know, if you are using custom indicators, that's going to require the Pine script ability that we were talking about before. But yeah, failing that, or not even failing that, but you know, there's some things that we look at and we go, okay, we can do this full version and it's going to take 3 months, or we can do this, you know, quick fix that's going to take a week. Get us a lot of the way there, and then, you know, when we do get further down, have a bigger team, we can work on some bigger things like that. So that might be what we end up doing with that alert system. But that's it's probably one for the devs, because I assume everything's a 5-minute job for them, and it's definitely not.
I actually missed the part where he was talking about a custom indicator, because the way I interpreted that, he was sort of saying like he's drawing his charts on TradingView, and then that's triggering the alerts on 3 commas, and it's sort of like Vemma does exactly that.
Yeah, it does it all in one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I could have misunderstood, but yeah, I think
Yeah,
further down
I didn't see
custom
the indicator part, but yeah.
So on the note of new features coming out, I am super keen to get more features out, but to do that, we need a bigger team. More team means we can make things happen faster. And so we're releasing Feb 15 for the initial VIP launch, just the small set of people, and then on hopefully Feb 21 for the big one. Working with my wife, we call the Treasury, controller of the finances for Vemma. We figured out how many people we need so that we can then hire another person, or how many, as we get to X number of users, we can hire another person. X number, we've got another person. X number, we've got another person. So if there's features that you would like that we don't yet have, buy Vemma and we'll be able to work on them faster.
It'll get us there quicker.
But you know, that intro pricing there, the $85 is what I had something again on. That is there. You get in on that now, you get to keep that price as we go. And we are definitely going to be bumping that price up as we add in more and more and more and more and more features. Yeah, absolutely. So that is pretty fun there. No, we haven't done any kind of giveaway at this. Sorry, what was that, Sam?
Can I say something about the pricing?
Go for it. Sure.
Get in now for $85 a month, or the $850 for the year. And then once these extra features are added and TradingView is just superfluous, it's basically costing you a couple $100 a year for Vemma, and it does so much more. Because I checked today, my subscription for TradingView for the subscription I'm on is $500 a year. So it's only going to cost me when I cancel that, basically it's going to be an extra $350 a year for me to now have Vemma, which does so much more than any other platform that's around. So it's a bargain.
I don't even think it's going to cost you that much, Sam.
Not after that, not at all. All right, cool. That's fantastic. No, thanks for interrupting on that one, Sam. That interrupting is the worst word I could have used there. Thank you for adding that addendum in there, which is fantastic.
Ryan, who's another one of our beta testers, just said that he just got an alert. Vemma caught the bounce on BTC with confirmation. So yay.
Woo! I love it. Don't even have to, I love that you've just got the alert. Like, don't even have to be there. It's just, hey, it's taken action. It's done it. It's already done the risk management. It's figured out your min risk reward was good. Didn't have to worry about position size calculator. Just you set and forget, and it tells you when it's done. All right. So Reese has, Reese Jordan doesn't show the rest of the name. I'm really sorry. From someone who values not only the convenience of setting up trades and all the different possible features in thought, but also a smooth and fast interface, how does Vemma value these variables? And do you think Vemma can run efficiently with said features?
Can I take this one, Reese to Reese?
Yes, you can. I'm going to pass it over to Reese.
Yeah. So Reese, I love that question, right? Like, because we talk about the trading side of things a lot. I really like Dalla, asking someone before about the how we're going to do suggestions and everything. I thought that was a really good question. But so I really like this question. So, do I think Vemma can run efficiently with said features? Absolutely. So obviously I'm biased, but I think the interface we have is reasonably simple. We sort of, we've got in the plans for this week, I think, to get some people in to sort of just cold test it and see if they can figure their way around without much instruction. So that'll give us a really good idea of how things are looking in terms of, simple. In terms of efficient, I don't know if you've seen, but, like Mike managed to get Vemma loading candles faster than FTX's own interface does. So, obviously the more features we add, things might get more difficult. I don't like, that's probably a dev question. But from what I understand, I mean, I've never worked with devs before, but these guys seem really good at what they do. There's a lot of things where I'm like, that's going to be a really big job, and 5 minutes later, Dale's like, "Yeah, you should reload that page. It's fixed." And I'm like, "Oh wow!" Like it's these guys are really really good at what they do, and so I think. And it's always going to be a priority for us. We don't want Vemma to take ages to load. We don't want things to move slowly. These guys created a monster in me when they asked me for feedback, because I started out really just complimenting everything, and then they're like, "No, we need to know like what's wrong." And now I whinge about having to click on things twice, or like not having to click on twice, but having to take 2 clicks to get where I want to go. That's the worst thing in the world for me now. So. I think we will be pretty good at keeping things efficient. And obviously, if we're not, we're going to get the feedback that things can be improved, and then we're going to take that on board. So I do think that's something, it's definitely a priority for us. So I do think it's something that we will maintain.
User experience is definitely a priority.
Yeah.
It's got to be easy to use, and it's got to have everything that they need. That is always going to be a priority.
Love to give
Funny
I
because
love this.
we use it, right? Like we use Vemma ourselves. And all the things you guys are saying and the feedback is actually our own feedback to ourselves almost. But if I raise someone and say, "Hey, it should be like this," kind of means nothing. Not that it means nothing, but I'm part of the team. It kind of falls flat. But as soon as a beta mentions it, you can see us. We have our little pet peeves or pain points. And if someone mentions a beta, one of us will go and screenshot it, take it to the team, and really push it.
See,
And go, "Hey,
told
guys,
ya. Just validated everything we've been saying.
So we want all this stuff, hey? So yeah, I mean, we want the
It's
same
just
thing.
yeah, it's bragging rights.
Ed Carey, when you put about the wallet, like being able to use more than what's on your BitMEX account, I had been screaming. So I screenshot that straight away. I was like, I told you. So yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Reese had a, I wouldn't say heated, passionate discussion about how come the minimum risk reward should already be pre-filled without him having to type it. I'm going to set 0 every time. Just make it be already 0. Like, dude, it's 1 click, it's 1 button. And he fought for it for like 3 weeks. And we was like, "Man, we'll put the bloody button in there. Fine, just shut you up, keep you going."
I was that
But now here's me as a trader using it, going, "I hate that it's default to 0. I want it to be something else." So what am I doing? One of my things to do this week or next week, whenever I can get to it, is to have that as a usable setting. So I can say mine should be pre-filled at 2. If it's less than 2, I don't even care. It's going to save me a click. So I've done something to get Reese going faster, but it's upset me. So I'm going to fix it and make me happy, which I think everyone else would be able to get some happiness out of that as well. So yeah, customer experience is a big one for us. Yeah, look, we haven't done any giveaways yet. I don't think we've missed any questions there, have we? Just double checking my list. We keep track that one. We've answered all those.
Mark, that'll be, if you don't get the early price, do you still pay the increased price as it goes up if you get in just after that? So obviously, if you don't get in at the $85 price on that initial release and they end up paying the $99 later on, is the price going to go up?
So as the plan is to keep whatever price you get in at. So like if you don't come in on the 85, come in at 85, like it's cool, get it there. But if you decide, nah, I'm going to wait till it goes 99 because I want to give them more money. 1, thank you. 2, yes, you'll keep that 99 as we get it up and up and up. But if you were to cancel your subscription and then come back and say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and set up a new subscription a year later, we're going to go, well, the price is now this. Well, you don't get to keep that 99 back there. But whatever you come in at, you get to keep as we ramp it up. I hope that
just to add to that, I highly doubt you're going to see, I would say you're probably not going to see a price increase for a little bit. But even if they do it, they're not going to be dramatic increases. You're not going to see it go from 100 to 150 bucks. I dare say that'd be fairly small increments unless we added some pretty major features.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
We did even talk about them being optional features as well, where some of the bigger features that we're working on would be an optional feature, not included, if that makes sense, with the price rise.
Yep. Cool. All right. So let's do some giveaways. What I didn't do was actually come up with any questions on that I should ask people because I'm a ningnom like that. So Donnie, if you've got anything, I'd love to give you some interesting, better questions than what I'm about to spew up because I've really got two. All right. So put it in the chat. We're going to go this one. Get yourself some stickers. This little badass dude. Woo! You can tell me who the creator, the pseudonym of Bitcoin is or was.
Murgi.
I need a full name there, Mr. Matthew Forrester.
Craig Wright. You're all wrong. It was Craig Wright.
I was trying to remember his name. I was about to go.
Actually, I got a message from young Chris Kirk before, and his latest spew is it's Putin. Vladimir Putin is apparently the creator of Bitcoin now. I'm like, this kid's lost it.
Oh man, that's all you got to do is just show us you've got the key, and everyone can't debate that any further.
Yeah.
All right, cool, awesome, thank you. So who have we got in that one? We've got Paul Mills and Matthew Forrester who have given us answer on that one. Thank you, Jane. It was indeed Mr. Satoshi Nakamoto. James Allen, it was not Donald Trump. All right, cool. Next one. What is the lowest value of a Bitcoin called? So I got some answers coming in there. The sat, and the Satoshi. Yep. Well, Mills, you've already got yourself some stickers, man. I don't know if I should give you another one. Of course I will. I've got so many hundreds of stickers here. JD's also got Little Bit. I like that one. That's also pretty cool. Nice. So, Donnie, do you have any more cool questions we can ask people? What are the two main trading strategies that Vemma Trader has?
DR, that was
DR.
That was so quick.
DR is one of the beta testers, isn't it?
That was quick.
Bounce cross, bounce cross, bounce cross. Yeah, quickest little fingers in the West.
All right,
Very nice.
I've got one. What's the Vemma stand for?
Good one, man.
I don't know why I didn't think of that one because that is actually brilliant.
How long it takes you to type that?
Yeah, I was like, wondering if everyone's just taking a while. They're probably trying to figure out how do I spell that again?
How do I go to the market?
Very eager mutated apes. That's a new NFT collection that I'm getting into, I think. Wow, has no one actually got it? Come on, guys. What does Vemma stand for?
I'll give you a hint, it's
VEMA.
on the marketing
Fail
website.
marketing.
Vemma stands for openness, integrity, honesty.
DR. Nailed it.
Someone went to the website. Nice.
For those who were in at the start of this session, why do we have a ninja as a mascot? Because cool. Yeah.
That is a legitimate answer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty. That's
Cool.
That's about it.
Does anyone have the original reason for that one? The original reason.
Richard told the story at the start of this session. So anyone who was at the on at the start and heard that, the old name was
again, and also there.
Ooh, close or something. Ninja Trade Tracker. That's close.
Damn, I don't got it. Eh?
Yeah, Trend Trading Ninja. Donnie's MMA fighter.
We did have an MMA fighter, I think in NBA. I remember being on a call and someone was like, "Aren't you that dude?" And I looked him up and he was. He was actually a legit pro fighter.
Yeah, right.
What was his name? Sorry.
I can't remember his name.
Okay. Oh, but okay, MMA fighter.
Yeah, a pro MMA fighter was on one of the calls, and he was just chilling. And someone called him out in the chat. They were like, "Aren't you that dude?" Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
That's pretty cool. MMA fighting. Fun stuff. I'm glad I'm not an MMA fighter. I get my ass kicked so quick. Awesome. All right, David Hunt, thank you very much for joining us, man. Hope you had a good time. All right, so the last thing we've still got to do is give away Mr. Ninja here. And that is
Nigel.
still... Sorry?
Nigel.
Wasn't it Nigel? Did we name him Nigel?
Gotta be, surely.
No, we're not going. If we're going Nigel, then we're sticking with Gary. So to win this lovely hand knitted ninja with the lovely Vemma logo on, and he comes with a belt because he's a badass black belt ninja at ninjutsu. Please give us a name, a name that we can call the ninja. What can we call him instead of just Ninja Mascot? De Niro wins it with Gary.
Favoritism.
Hey, Gary.
Gypsy the Ninja.
Gypsy the Ninja.
Silent Bob because he's always there in the shadows.
Bobby the Ninja.
Silent Bob just makes me think of Clerks 2.
Yeah.
Don't know if that's an association we want to use.
Mark Hellaby's got Darth Trader. I think that's pretty cool.
Oh, that
Darth
is
Trader. Ooh.
Darth Trader.
If we had a Star Warsy type mascot, that would be very, very fitting.
I could run away and get a Mr. Potato Head sized Darth Vader mask put on his head. And I might wake up my daughter if I run upstairs and bust into a room, gone through a toy chest to find it. Anyone got any more? I'm kind of liking Darth Trader now.
Trader. There was Splinter going around.
Oh yeah, Splinter from back. Is this legitimately going to be the Bema Ninjas?
Are we actually naming
Yeah,
a
we're gonna name
mascot
it.
Or
right
just
now?
this toy?
I don't know. I can.
Because this is going to stick, Richard. Do we want to think this through?
See, what I love is to get one of these and put one of those voice boxes into them of when you pull the string, it then says, "G'day, mate. How's it going?"
We're gonna have a bloating boat face on our hands, I reckon.
But,
Yeah, we could. we could poll it. We could poll it.
Poll it. Yeah.
We'll give it to the winner of tonight's one.
I'm gonna pass this over. I kind of like Darth Trader. That one.
Darth Trader sounds pretty good to me.
That's got the win from me, Mr. Mark Hellaby. Fantastic, good sir. I will be in touch with you, and I will get your address, and I will post this thing to you. It's bigger than my head. How big is
That's one. That's one of one as well, right? That's going to be worth something one day.
Yeah.
One. Boom. There we go. There we go. Mark, I'm just going to send you a message. Hey.
Or if you got our Facebook, just message us, private message us.
Yeah, absolutely. There we go. I've just sent that. Look, I like giving away swag, and I've got a lot of this stuff. My wife loves buying more stuff, and I put a hold on her and said, "You cannot buy more swag until we've gotten rid of the other stuff." And so, look, I do actually have a lot of stickers here, and I do have a lot of keychains as well.
I don't have my keychain yet.
Yeah.
How did you
I've got
not
a
get
gazillion
keychain?
stickers and no keychains.
I made sure that there was 2 in every single package I sent. If you've picked up your shirt and it's fallen down, that's on you.
Nah, for real?
The ninja
Nah, there
just
was no
jumped away.
chains in there.
There was or there was not?
I don't think there was, bro.
I don't think I got a keychain.
Oh no, that's right. They arrived. Like I waited and waited and waited and waited, and then the box came after Christmas. That's right. Okay, so you haven't gotten it yet. My mistake.
Yeah.
It was the other shirts that I sent out.
You're going to do me out of a keychain, bro.
I know how much you actually want a Vemma hat and how and a bottle opener.
Yeah, I think Reese is pretty keen on the
I'm
bottle.
pushing for the bottle openers.
A bunch of people. There we go. JD's got one bottle opener.
I had an extension on the bottle opener idea, Reese.
Yeah.
Kind of goes back to your full string thing. One of those bottle openers that says something as you crack the bottle, and just have trading tips come out.
Always use correct risk management.
Yeah.
Never trade without a stop loss.
Drink and trade.
That'd be great. That'd be fun. That'd be wonderful. And then we can
Trade responsibly.
Trade responsibly. Fun. What was that you were throwing? Were you just throwing a fidget spinner against the wall somewhere?
It's a trigger ball.
A trigger ball. What is
Like
that?
I like a sort of squashy, those fidget balls.
Okay,
I think so.
squeezer.
Yeah, those
Okay, fair enough. So Joshua Sommer loves to fidget a lot, and so whenever he's doing a presentation, he's like, "So if you just look at this bit here on my screen, scroll, dude, hold it still. Where am I supposed to look? Oh, this bit here. Like, stop it." So we got annoyed, and I bought him a fidget hand
There it is.
squishy thing there.
There it is. I must admit, I'm using it a lot right now.
Fun. All right, cool. So if anyone has any last minute questions, please throw them out there. Otherwise, it has far out, nearly 2 hours. It's going to be time to wrap this one up. So on that note, everyone, thank you so much for coming. I hope you've all learned a lot. I hope you can see the value in Vemma and that you see it's a tool that you're going to absolutely love. The beta testers here were kind of put on the spot with these questions. It was not pre-rehearsed or anything like that. I had no idea what they were going to say. I love that they gave us these wonderful answers. That's very cool. So at that note here, I'm going to say thank you very much, everybody, for coming. I hope you all had some had learned something and had some fun. And I'm going to put my email into the chat at vemtrader.com. I didn't think of a way to actually keep track of who answered questions apart from taking your name down. So if you answered a question or you just want some stickers, feel free to send me an email with your address and I'll see what I can sort out for you. On that note, thank you very much, everybody. Have yourselves a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
See you later, everyone.